What is going on, everybody? Hope you are having a wonderful week so far. Before we get into the podcast, if any of you are listening or watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you do like this episode, or if there's any questions you want to know about the artist or start conversations, hit us in the reviews, hit us in the questions on Spotify, and hit us in the comments on YouTube. Keeps the podcast going, so thank you very, very, very much. We have some amazing guests for you this year, so keep locked in, and I really appreciate that. So podcast time this week, Charlie T, very good friend of mine. Charlie T is a DJ, a radio presenter from the Radio 1 drum and bass show on Saturday night at 11 p.m. I've known Charlie for years. I've known her from before she started radio to starting radio, going through all the issues of trying to become a presenter and all the work she's done. She's one of the hardest working people I know. I love this girl so much. She's amazing, and she deserves absolutely everything that she's got in this world. So I'm going to stop rambling on and let you guys listen. It's a great episode. Without further ado, Charlie D.
Like Cocker Spaniels.
Oh, with the massive ears.
Yeah, because I've got my hair's a bit wavy at the moment. So look, when I have it like that, my headphones on.
I'm digging the hair.
Thanks.
Have you dyed it?
I have. I'm a bit blonder now, yeah. Just went for a change.
Suits the personality. Oi, oi.
Get out.
Charlie T, what's cooking?
Hello, mate. It's been a while. How you doing?
It actually hasn't been a while.
It's been a while since we've done something like this. It's not been a while since I've seen you in person. We were at the pub, but yeah.
That was so random.
That was random.
Yeah, so for context for anybody listening, because obviously clearly nobody knows.
Yeah.
I was in London. What was I doing in London?
I can't remember, but you were coming out of a clothes shop.
Studio. I was coming out of a clothes shop.
Yeah, and I was with my sister, and I was like, that person over there looks really like Will Clark, and obviously you've got such a distinctive aesthetic.
That was a lucky
the beard,
person.
The hat, and the clothes. I was like, he looks too much like Will Clark to not be Will Clark. And lo and behold, it was you. And then we dragged you to the pub, and that was it. Yeah.
Had a Diet Coke, rock and roll.
Yeah, a lovely surprise.
I know. You haven't been on for ages on this.
Yeah, I haven't.
You were like one of the OGs.
I was one of the OGs, one of the starters, wasn't I? And look
Back
at
in
it
the day.
now. And look at how much it's flourished and how much it's grown.
Well, I'd like to say the same about you as well.
Yeah, things have happened, didn't they?
Shit's gone down.
Yeah.
We're allowed to swear on this. Yes, we are.
Can't do that on the radio. Have another job. Not allowed.
Have you actually ever sworn on radio?
There was an accidental swear word that went out. Not on the BBC.
Oh, really?
No, when I was on Kiss. And it wasn't my fault at all. And it was something that was pre-recorded and they hadn't edited properly. And it was a travel bulletin. And it was about 5 a.m. And trying to say that A405 at 5 a.m. sometimes when you're doing traffic news and you're reading it very quickly is quite difficult when your mouth's not quite awake. So it was like, there's build-up traffic on the A5. I was like, oh, fucking hell. And cleared my throat. But they hadn't edited that bit out, so it went out on air.
That's so good. Was there complaints?
Yeah. No, loads of people just doing hashtag Don't Fire Charlie because I was doing the breakfast show as well with Will Manning, who's on Capital now, and it was a clear mistake. It was just a very innocent mistake. It wasn't purposeful, and the way I said it wasn't even I didn't really enunciate when I was swearing. I was just fucking hell, under my breath, oh, for goodness sake. So yeah, it was all right.
I love that. Yeah. Why is it so strict on radio?
Well, there's lots of children listening. You've got to remember, you wouldn't have people swearing in nurseries and preschools and stuff, would you? They're quite impressionable. It's not really great if you've got loads of 2-year-olds walking around swearing. It's not really what you want in life.
What 2-year-olds are listening to the drum and bass show at 11 o'clock in the evening?
Oh, so the watershed for my show works differently. I'm talking about if you're doing daytime radio.
Oh, right.
If you're doing daytime
radio. I understand daytime.
But we're not, typically we're not allowed to swear, but there are certain rules on our show where we can play out certain swear words.
Okay.
So we're allowed to play out shit. We're allowed to play out piss. We're allowed to play out bitch, but it has to be self-empowering. So it has to be I'm that bitch, not she's a... It has to be a self-empowerment bitch. So there's a lot of contextual rules about it because also it's like artistic license in a lot of the music, like the rap shows before me, and to pull out a lot of those words in rap music, it's just so ingrained in the culture of it all. It's to take the essence and the soul away from the music. Why would you do that? It's such a big part of it, you know.
Yeah,
it's expression.
I'll never forget when Eminem kind of like blew up on the scene, and like they had to play him on daytime radio. Yeah. Because he was so big, and it was literally like bleeps and just silences the whole way through.
But really quick as well.
Yeah, really quick.
He held the world record for most amount of words, didn't he? In a minute, at one point, so it was probably like bleep, bleep, bleep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's interesting how times have changed, though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's very more acceptable now, swearing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like there's a time and a place. And if you're using it contextually to express something that you're really passionate about, then I believe in it totally. I think I hate people swearing for the sake of it. Like if you hear people swearing for no reason, like as in like I can't explain it. If you just hear people swearing every other sentence, I'm just like, you sound like an idiot. Like I don't know. But if you're really passionate about something, like really fucking, you know,
I swear quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, not day to day.
I get told off.
Yeah, not on the radio. My mum tells me off actually quite a lot for swearing. I get told off quite a lot.
I learned it from my mum though. My mum had a potty mouth growing up. Absolute potty mouth.
So you picked it up?
Yeah, pretty much. Learned from the best, as I say.
I really like your jumper, by the way. This is nice. Nice. Is it Pleasures? Oh yeah.
It's like your grand's carpet from back in the day, right?
I wasn't going to comment, but it's cool right now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's a vibe.
Steezy, man.
It's not that warm, but it looks great. So.
Oh, I thought it would have looked warm. Looks like it's thick.
Yeah, it's not that thick. It's pretty thin, but it's all good.
Well, it's pretty cold here in the UK right now. Freezing.
Mate, I was in Chicago. Well, I was in Boston and Pittsburgh this gone weekend, and then I did a 7-hour layover in Chicago. So I was like, fuck it, let's go have a day out in Chicago. Guess how cold it was?
Minus something. It's going to be in the
minus 23 degrees Celsius.
No, I ain't built for that. I ain't built for that. I'm tapping out.
It was fucking chilly. The coldest I've been in is minus 26 in Detroit.
Did you get little frosticles on your beard?
Yeah. Well, even this weekend, like, it kind of like water freezes.
Yeah,
like, very quickly. So if there's like any condensation, it definitely freezes. What's that? I swear there used to be like an Iceland advert with like a fisherman. What's the?
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah. Birdseye. Was it Birdseye?
Birdseye. Captain
Birdseye. Yeah. I remember it well.
Good times back in the days.
Times.
So last time you were on here, you were kind of in this limbo land of I think you were on Kiss.
Yeah, I was. I would have been, last time,
But it was coming up to the end, and I remember, like, having conversations off the podcast as mates and stuff like that, like, going, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, you were, like, at this point where you and I both knew you wanted Radio 1. Yeah. And that was always the goal, but it wasn't coming. Now, you're literally the hottest new thing on Radio 1.
Not sure about that. But
it's very true.
I'm
you're
here.
Everywhere.
You can't escape me. Do you know, I was actually at dinner with my mates last night. And like one of them literally was like talking to me, and he just put up Instagram. He's like, "You are everywhere. I can't." He's like you're here and you're there. And I was like, "I'm not even." Yeah, I was like, "I'm really sorry. You can't escape me at the moment."
I think it's really interesting though, because like the drum and bass show. So when is your show? Just for everybody, just so they know.
So just for context, I'm the host of the Radio 1 Drum and Bass show, which happens every Saturday night here in the UK at 11 p.m. Our time, and it's a 2-hour show. So the first hour is obviously playing new music. We do a feature called Drop of the Week, which is kind of our highlight track that we do. And we also have 4 rotating features. So we do something called the 60-second Send It, something called the Double Drop Challenge, something called the 16 Bs of Separation, and the Remix Challenge, the Radio 1 Remix Challenge. Sorry, it's 10 a.m. here and my brain is working slowly. And then we have 2 mixes every week, which is the drum and bass mix and the chill drum bass mix. And then once a month, we do something called the D&B 60, which is a 60-minute drum bass mix. And we do a best of month show. So there's lots going on.
There is a lot going on. But
on this show.
I'm going back to what I was saying. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Radio 1 over the years. We grew up listening to Radio 1 in our days. But, like, I've not ever seen a radio DJ do what you've done on socials, or just, like, the level of, like, how you've taken it by the gahoonies and just, like, completely owned it. Because, like, I'll be honest, like, the drum and bass show for me, and this may sound very disrespectful to Radio 1 and the previous drum and bass show host, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but, like, it wasn't a big thing for me, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like something that people would talk about on a regular basis. It was very niche. It was very much that was it. And I know drum and bass is having a huge moment right now, so maybe it's timing, but I think a lot of it is you bring a level of character to that show that has never been done before. But, like, how was there like a plan behind all of this?
Yeah, there was always a plan. And you know, it's really interesting because I think there's lots of components to this. So the show is live every single Saturday night now, and it's never been a live show before on a Saturday night in that prime time. So I think it was always harder for the predecessors, the previous hosts to bring that human element to it, given that it wasn't a live show previously. So that is harder in terms of, like, interaction and people listening in live to the show and having that live feel and element to it. I always knew that I wanted to make it really interactive, and one of the things I'm really passionate about was diversifying that show and bringing everyone in. Yeah. And I think one of the pros of having me on that show was because I'm not currently someone that releases music or you know is somebody that is fixed in a certain scene or with a certain label. I am less likely to pick people within the label that I'm from, or you know, so for me it was really important that I kind of sit in the middle as this kind of mediator that brings everyone together and unifies everyone together and just makes the scene feel more whole again, more like a community rather than just playing the same artists or you know, which obviously if you have a platform like that and you have a record label and you release music, it's in your best interest to play a lot of that,
of course,
isn't it? So
that's also against BBC rules, though, right?
Yeah, it
to
is,
a certain extent,
but yeah,
but it happens.
It is, it does happen. But I think also, like, it's not necessarily you just playing stuff off your label. If you're going to sign music to a label, it's obviously going to be music you're passionate about, that you like.
Yeah.
So as a broadcaster, you play stuff on the show that you like. Music's subjective, right? As well. Yeah. So if you're signing stuff that you like, obviously you're going to play that anyway. So it just happens to be on your label. But for me, it was very much a conscious decision to make the show more interactive. Yeah. To utilize my skills as somebody who's been doing broadcasting for, you know, best part of 12 years now, and I've got lots of skills at interviewing. I've done lots of daytime radio as well as specialist radio, and I always wanted to bring those two worlds together.
At what radio? Specialist?
Did I say specialist? Did I say specialist radio? I told you it's 10:30 here in the UK. My brain's just about waking up.
Good job you were late.
I was setting up my new, what's it called? Not new, my new laptop.
Sound card.
My new sound card, my laptop, which also didn't work, but excellent.
Yeah, no, but also I think it's like, I hear that the whole live thing is really interesting. I think it's very key for radio. You can tell when it's not a live show, although even if it's treated like it's a live show, it's never that feeling. It's never off the cuff, if you know what I mean. Although all these shows are planned I know the amount of work you put into each show. Yeah.
And even as well, because even though the shows are live, the guests aren't live because they have to play on the weekend. So we pre-record the guests in the week. So I do a couple of days a week on the show. I spend a whole few days. It's not just we put some tunes together, we have a guest in. And all the videos that you see online, I edit myself. So they're all edited and colour graded by me, and everything's by me. So it's I don't know if you know, there's an artist called Blossom in LA in the US. Have you heard of Blossom?
No.
She did this really funny Instagram video the other day. It's like, meet my team, and she's like, assistant, and it's her waving, and it's like stylist, and it's her waving, social media manager, it's her turning around again waving. It's like, she is the team. And it's Yeah, I just thought it was so poignant because I'm just like, that is so many artists now.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is the team, you know?
Well, I think the amazing thing is that we can do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, because with like these fucking amazing phones, like we have the ability to do everything ourselves. And although I think there's a lot of artists and a lot of people that are trying to get into the scene that are like, it's overwhelming, and it is a lot. It is a lot of work.
It is a lot. And it's not easy. Like it is. I do love this show to my absolute core, and I'm very blessed to have the most amazing team around me that are so passionate about it as well. Like my producers are incredible, and they will go the distance. Like if we have to come in the week and record, like they set aside time like to do that. And like,
who are your producers?
So I work with a company called Grape. So
we know Grape.
They're brilliant. Like Ollie Brady was my first producer when I started the show. He sadly moved on now, but now I've got a producer called Liney Moles.
Cool.
And Jojo has just joined the team. We had a producer called Ruben, and Katie Fox was my assistant producer when we first started the show. And they're all amazing and
sweet.
So passionate about music and creating radio. And yeah, I just feel really lucky that I've had the most amazing team, because what a lot of people don't realise as well is behind the scenes, these producers are the glue that hold everything together as well, organising all the guests.
Can you explain what a producer does for people that don't know for radio?
So I think producers, their roles vary with different shows, but I can talk about them in relation to my show. So producers will go through music every single week for the show, and then we'll sit down and we'll have a programming meeting every week where we schedule the music for the show.
Yeah.
So that's the first port of call, and we put it into like a document, like we call it a script. And we literally put the music in order and usually have it in key. So when I mix the segments, so the show isn't individual tracks played, I mix it like a DJ mix. So we'll play it in different sections and have the features in different sections. So that's thing number one. If we have artists on the show, they organise the diaries, the features, when the artists are coming in, liaising with their teams and management, creating social content. So getting press shots to get all the artwork made up, helping to build the show. So I build a big bulk of it. They build a big bulk of it. They organise the guest mixes and make sure the guest mixes are in on time and when the artist's coming in. Organise studio time, so for me to come in and record in the week. Set up the studio obviously on the night for it to go live. Be manning all the socials and feeding me social content, taking the studio. Yeah, there's a lot more that goes on that people realise. It's not just a case of they just monitor what I do. They do a lot.
Yes, it's a really big. It makes a radio show work, right?
Yeah, totally.
There's no way you could do that by yourself.
No, not to do a live show like that. It's
not on national radio.
Yeah. And I think the best bit about producers is they do a lot of the logistical stuff. Like we will sit down and brainstorm together the guests we want. We'll have a programming meeting once every quarter. Be like, right, which guest do we want in this month? And we'll sit down together. It also, having them do a lot of the logistics allows me to sit and be more creative as well. Because if I was programming, doing all the logistics, it doesn't really leave much room for creativity or for my brain to kind of work in a creative way.
Yeah.
And something I'm trying to personally do this year more is give my brain more room for creativity, because that's what my job is all about. And when you're overworked, it doesn't give you much room to be creative or to be thinking in that way. So I notice when I interview people when I'm really tired, I'm just not as on the ball. It's not as great. So
I get that. I get that totally. And we're kind of trying to do the same with the podcast this year as well. We're actually in conversations with Grape.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, about doing some stuff with them. But for me, it's like you're 100% right. And I think when you're the person doing the interviews, when you're the person doing the radio show and kind of presenting and everything like that, there has to be. It's the same with us. It goes back to kind of what we were saying, is that we can do everything ourselves. But there comes a point when you need a team to kind of step in and overtake that. Because I think I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure you're the same. But it's just like, I want it to be quality. Yeah. And the more you do yourself, the less time you have to make it quality, because you have to be consistent. And you're doing these weekly. You're doing 52 shows a year and sub-ins and everything like that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and I also sub. I worked out, I think I did like 58 radio shows a week and last year. 58 a year, not a week. Yeah. 58 a year last year. So,
which is a lot.
Yeah. But I love it. Like, I love doing live radio. But this is why, again, like you say, it's important to have producers and also a management team around you helping with the logistics.
Big up Sonny Wharton.
Yeah, big up Sonny Wharton. Superstar manager who keeps me alive most of the time. Do you know what? Someone asked me the other day what a manager does. And I was like, I can't even explain all of the things he does. It's really hard, isn't it, to explain?
What does Sonny do for you what does a manager do for a radio presenter, I guess? Because I know you're a DJ as well, of course.
Yeah.
But like, it's slightly different to what I would say is an
artist.
Not a normal artist, like an artist, like a DJ producer artist or a performer in that sense. Like, what would you class, what does Sonny do? Yeah.
Sonny,
what does a manager do?
I mean, in layman's terms, he keeps me alive most of the time. Let's be honest. There is just such a barrage of stuff all the time. Like, for example, this week, we've had to sort out, I'm doing a magazine interview, I'm in a magazine, and then I've had to do some filming for BBC Bite Size this week, so he's had to liaise about that. He handles my diary, he sorts out all my gigs. Like, I don't even speak to my agent, he just liaises with my agent directly, and I'll get stuff drip fed to me that like I need to know about. But if I was sent every single thing, it'd just be so overwhelming with all the music that I get sent and all the radio commitments that I have and all the filming and recording I have to do. Like, he literally just mans everything and just kind of gives everything to me in bite-sized chunks and organises things in terms of their priority and when they need doing. Obviously he does so much more than that. He goes above and beyond. He comes to all my shows, and a lot of the time he films all my shows as well, just so I've got some content that even happened. I joke with him a lot that he should moonlight as a videographer because he's so fucking good.
He came to my show at Warehouse Project. Good. He did some of mine as well.
It's insane. Like, I'm just like, how are you doing? Do you know, we had an ongoing joke about this. My ex-boyfriend came to a show and he filmed me on his phone, and he was like, how does Sonny get it? So it's like, he was convinced he had one of those, you know, those little jib things that you have on your phone. He was like, oh, he's obviously got a jib. I was like, it's literally his hand. I've watched him and he's just like, it's amazing. The human Sonny Wharton, the human jib. Bless you.
I'm sneezing everywhere.
You're getting ill.
No, I'm actually feeling good. I'm feeling fresh right now.
Feeling great.
I just had the sneezes. Sonny's the best. I've obviously known Sonny for a very long time. He's been on the podcast.
Yeah, I know he's been on the podcast.
I'm seeing him this week, actually.
Yeah, you said.
Yeah.
Playing a gig in London, aren't you?
Are you coming?
I can't. I've got my radio show Saturday night, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not playing till 2.
I could come afterwards. Afterwards. I have to organise how to get home, though.
I'll get you an Uber.
I'll work it out. Where is it?
You're not in London at the moment, are you?
No.
Just stay at the sisters.
Outside. She's in Paris.
Even better. Free house.
No, her boyfriend lives there. That'll be weirder.
Oh, yeah, that'd be weirder.
She lives with her boyfriend. If she comes stay at your house, is that all right? In their one-bed flat as well. On the sofa, top to tail. No, not a vibe. Not a vibe.
Oh, I love that. So what with regards to like all the videos and stuff that you do on your Instagram, they've absolutely blown the fuck up. Especially the Becky Hill one.
Yeah, I love Becky.
That was mental.
Love Becky to my core.
So can you explain to people that haven't seen these videos what they are and like the context?
Yeah, totally. So a lot of the videos that feature a line are the features that we do on my show. So the most popular one is called the 60-second Send It, and it's
the best.
Exactly how it sounds. Do you know, I'm so proud. This was my brainchild. This is my baby, the 60-second Send It. Yeah. And I remember when we first sat down in a meeting to work out some of the features for the show, and they were like, we want to do an MC challenge. And I was like, it's been done. I was like, I want to open that world up to you. I was like, there are so many incredible vocalists in the scene and spoken word artists. Yeah. Like, not just MCs, like artists like Garda for me, I'd say is more of a spoken word artist, you know? And I was like, I just want us to be able to get creative with it. I want to give 60 seconds to an artist. I want them to see how freeing and creative they can be with that. I mean, my dream one day is to have like Fred again doing a 60-second Send It, doing like Jungle and Leave Me Alone, and Kenya Grace on, and like this is that's a dream. Beatbox, the names escape me, but the beatboxers that do the viral Instagram posts. So I kind of wanted to create a creative challenge within 60 seconds so that we could pull lots of other artists in from other genres and because drum and bass has always been this little island that's just kind of been, there's dance music and then there's drum and bass, and I was like, I want it to be more inclusive with all the other genres and bring it in. So yes, the 60-second send it is one of the features we do on the show, and Becky Hill took it on, and what a moment. You know, we were talking about it for about a year because we were just waiting for the right moment for her, because obviously Afterglow is the song that she's most known for in the world of drum and bass. It's 10 years old this year actually, but we were waiting because I was like, she'd obviously done tracks with like Net Sky, she'd done another one with Wilkinson, but then I remember the day she went to write with Chase and Status, she was like, I want to do some more drum and bass. And she'd gone in, because I've known Becky for the best part of like 10 years now. Yeah. We're friends for a long time. And she was in the studio with Chase and Status. She's like, been in the studio Chase and Status now, I've written this tune, what do you think? And she'd only sent it to me and Be Live 24/7. And it was Disconnect. Yeah. And it was the first version of it. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is fire. And then she's like, I was like, I think this is the time. I was like, when this drops, let's do the 60-second send it. Yeah. And let's do a medley of all the other records that you've loved over the years. Because she's such a diehard drum and bass fan. And I think it was really important when this record dropped as well. For me, she's always been a big part of the scene. But I think for her, she'd always felt like a feature vocalist rather than a drum and bass artist in her own right. But like I say to her, I was like, you know, this record she put out is Becky Hill featuring Chase and Status. That is her record. She is a drum and bass artist in her own right. She's put so much into this scene and elevated it around the world by taking Afterglow everywhere. So yeah, that was such an important moment to have her do that. And you can see both our faces as she's about to do it. We look like little kids. We're like, this is the moment we've both been waiting for. She's been wanting to go on the drum and bass show her whole life on Radio 1. And the fact that I was obviously hosting it, her mate, and the first female on, you know, I'm the first female host of the Radio 1 drum and bass show. It just felt like such a moment for both of us. So yeah, we just looked like little kids. We're like, I can't believe we're doing this. I'm here on this side, you're there on that side. And, you know, it was so
amazing. Cool to see. It was so cool. And it's really interesting. That's the thing I like about what you're doing with the 60-second send it is like, it's not just super underground artists, if you know what I mean. It's like, it feels more broad. And I think I love drum and bass, but I'm not in the scene at all. I don't follow it at all. I'm not there. So like having more commercial artists kind of come in broadens it to a way bigger audience. Yeah. Whereas before it was felt a bit more niche. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know this. Yeah, it's great music, but I don't know this. And I think even for me it's like somebody that doesn't follow drum and bass, it's really interesting to have a show that like feels like I can relate to that show. I can want to hear that.
I love that.
But I think it's like important for the scene. Yeah. Drum and bass is having a moment right now. Generally, it does every 10 years, right? Yeah. It comes back and around, it goes in and out of fashion.
Well, I'm hoping that it doesn't go away this time. I'm hoping that it stays. But I honestly, I totally agree with you. And I've had people when I took over the show being like, oh, we liked it was a bit more niche. I'm like, but there is a time and place for those shows. Cool FM has just relaunched recently in the last couple of years. And if you want niche drum and bass, there are a plethora of incredible underground shows. I urge you to go and listen to all the amazing broadcasters like DJ Flight on Cool FM. There are so many great ones. Ray Keith. Go and listen to those artists, please do. But on Radio 1, those dance music shows have always been more accessible across all the genres, and we are the gateway. It
has to be.
We are the gateway to bringing people into the scene, and I don't think some people realise how important that is, because for a while drum and bass got a bit stagnant because the sounds were all the same. By having a show like this where it's more accessible, you're encouraging more younger people to get into the scene and to create music that also progresses the genre, because if it's the same people making the same sounds, the genre never moves forward. So, totally. You know,
I totally agree. And I think it's also, it comes to a point where people forget that Radio 1 is a national radio station paid by the license payers. Yeah. And that has to be made for the license payers. Yeah. And if you go super niche, you alienate half half the people that want to listen.
Yeah.
Even more than that, you alienate everyone apart from a small percentage. And don't get me wrong, I love niche stuff. I love it. Absolutely.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we still have underground artists on there. Like,
you do cool
like
shit.
Mantra, and we had Ivy Lab in the children based mix recently. We do make sure that, we had Fabio come on and do a 60&Bs, which was iconic because that used to be his show,
Yeah.
That was a moment. I almost cried. I was like, oh, pull it together, Charlie, for God's sake, But yeah, we do still do niche stuff. But yeah, it's not, like you said, I think the purpose of having that social online content is to bring people in. And I'm very aware there'll be a lot of people that like to watch the content online and don't actually listen to the show,
Well, I think that's the whole point of it, right? Yeah. That's the whole point of it is like, it's having another platform that is giving people content that they didn't know they wanted, but they want it. Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily mean, it's the same with the podcast. It's like the clips that I can put out, I can probably guarantee that 95% of the people don't listen to the podcast that see those clips, but maybe one day they might.
I was going to say, well, also those clips help to point to a podcast that people would be interested in, because they might not be interested in every single guest you have, but then if they see the clip, they're like, oh, I really like that person.
Exactly.
I know I do that with podcasts. Stephen Bartlett's podcast, Jay Shetty's podcast, like Annie Mac's podcast. If I see somebody that's interesting, I might not listen to every single episode, but I'm like, oh, they had that person, I'm definitely going to listen to that,
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's just a very interesting way to market yourself as well, especially for you, and especially for DJs. I think it's really hard for DJs. Imagine you were just DJing, right? Like, and all you were doing is putting videos up of yourself. Like, people aren't really getting to know who you are, but the fact that you can post videos of you on the radio actually talking, and it's not like, hi, my name's Charlie T, I'm in Dublin tonight, come check me out. Like, it's not those type of videos. It's actually really interesting videos, and like, people can interact with it.
Oh, thanks, mate. Well, honestly, that's one of the things I'm so passionate about. And when I reach out to a lot of artists that are like maybe a bit shy, or that's not something they'd ordinarily do, like when I come into the studio, I'm like, I promise you I will make you feel the most comfortable. We'll pre-record it. I want to get the best out of every artist. It's never a case of putting an artist on the spot. For me personally as well, like, I think it's really important for, obviously if people don't want to do it, it's fine, but if people are making music, to show that kind of personal side of their personality as well, so people can connect with them more.
Totally.
And that's what I want to facilitate. Like, that's what I'm really passionate about, like giving people that platform and making them feel the most comfortable. And it's something that's alien to them. It's something that a lot of them want to do, but they don't know how to do it, or they don't know where to start. Like, they want to talk about maybe like an EP that they've made, but they don't even know how to go about it. So it's like, well, come to the studio and let me do my job to the best of my ability and showcase what you're all about and talk about your music, so that you get to do that with no pressure on you. That's what I'm passionate about. It's like, I love elevating artists. I love helping them in their careers. Like, I want to take upcoming artists and use our platform to elevate them. And
no, I totally agree, and I think it's a really nice sentiment to have, because it's not about you.
Totally.
But the thing is by not making it about you, it becomes about you. And I think it sounds really weird to say that, but it does. Like, you've elevated the show. You've turned on to Radio 1 as a really interesting DJ. In comparison, even to a lot of the specialist people, is like, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
like you're everywhere, and it's amazing to see. I'm so happy.
I think we worked out. I'm the first ever DJ to have covered everything Radio 1 dance show, apart from Pete Tongs. He's the only one I haven't covered. But I've covered Dance Party, Future Dance, Sound System Party, obviously my show. Haven't covered, actually, BBC Introducing Dance I haven't covered. But yeah, every.
Have you done Greg James yet?
Haven't covered him, but I've been in the show. I was on his show twice this week, actually.
Yeah.
Can't escape me. Twice this week. Did New Year's Eve. And then covered for Danny Howard, first Friday of the year, which was incredible. That show is just so much fun. Bless you.
Yeah, it's amazing what Danny's done.
Yeah.
And how long he's been doing it. It's amazing to see.
I believe he's been there 10 years. It's mad.
I know. I remember when he won the competition.
Yeah, me too. Back in the day. I didn't know him then, obviously, but I've known Danny for about, we worked this out, 2013 I met him, so what is that in maths? Oh, that's about 10 years, isn't it?
10 years,
yeah. About 10 years. Yeah.
Well, it's 11 years now, we're 2024.
Oh yeah, going to the 11th year,
Fucking hey.
But yeah.
How does it feel?
What, being Radio 1?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think it's funny because I think the first year it didn't really sink in. The imposter syndrome definitely kicks in. It takes you a while to find your feet, to feel like that show belongs to you and is yours.
Yeah.
And the big boss Aled did say this to me. He's like, on average, it's like it does take about 9 months for people to get bedded in and for people to suddenly feel like that show is theirs. And you can almost tell by the way people are broadcasting how they suddenly change. Instead of like, it's the radio and drum and bass show, Charlie. It's like, it's the radio and drum and bass show. It's Charlie T. It's my show. Welcome to my show. And it's like your tonality changes, your turn of phrase changes, and it does. I mean, the thing that probably helped me with my show is that we launched on a different day with a brand new format with brand new features, so it did feel like a different show off the bat, very much. I've just tangled my necklace. How have I done this? Hold on.
I don't know. How have you done that?
I was fiddling with it, which is hold on.
Silly.
There you go.
There you go. T.
It says T, yeah. On brand. Charlie T was a bit too long. I was like, you have to pay per letter. And I was like,
it would have been massive as well.
Yeah.
It'd be like one of those gangster chains.
Yeah.
Do the Radio 1 rap show now.
Yeah.
But you didn't answer. How does it feel?
It feels amazing now I'm in. It doesn't feel real still, actually. It feels like a whole moment. Like it's, I think it only kind of sunk in about 6 months ago, because a lot of people listen to the show, but actually, no, not 6 months. Last summer, people were listening to the show, and then last summer, it was when people coming to me at festivals and going, your radio show, I listen to it every single week and I love it. Or I get DMs a lot now where people are like, you helped me get through my exams. Or, do you know, I was having a really shit time last year and I used to put your radio show on and go for a walk, go to the gym. And it's like, it's going to make me cry. Honestly, you forget how important that human connection is. And I do it. I listen to Greg James every morning. I stick him on when I'm getting ready, because I need that, like, especially in the winter when the weather outside is rubbish. I'm someone that's really affected by it, and he's just so joyous, and I put him on and it puts me in a good mood. And I never forget that power of radio. It's that's why Spotify, as amazing as it is and as great as it is as a platform, I don't think you'll ever beat that human connection when you need it. Like when you, because you'll reach for it when you need it, when you want it. There's a time to listen to music and there's a time to listen to radio, you know.
Yeah, I think also there's amazing ways where you don't have to listen to radio live now, which is, I think it helps.
Yeah, BBC Sounds app, you can listen.
Yeah,
download. You can download your favourite shows and you can listen offline.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a plug at all, but hey.
Nice, great little plug.
No, I think that's amazing. I think that kind of changed radio generally as well. It allowed, and also it's like you couldn't listen to radio anywhere else in the world. Yeah. Like now you can.
Yeah, you're so right. So we have listeners now, and this blows my mind. We have regular listeners in Australia, in Canada, the US. Like people listen in India, in Germany, in Austria, and even live now, because a lot of the Australian listeners listen live because it's their morning and they're at the gym.
Yeah, that's wild.
Which is, and they message in. That's how I know they're listening live. And I'm like, oh my God, there's someone listening in Canada right now. Like, this is incredible. That part I don't think I'll ever get over. And I'm about to go do an Australian New Zealand tour for the first time. And I was like, is anyone going to know who I am over there? Like, I'm really like worried. But I'm doing a headline show in Auckland, and that's blowing my mind. So I'm just I messaged Sonny, like,
drum and bass there.
They do love drum and bass. So I'm still like, I'm doing a headline show on the other side of the world. We've never even been there. Is anyone going to come? So we'll report back. But I have. Hopefully it's going to be a bit of a moment.
Fun. It's New Zealand's amazing. They love drum and bass.
They do love drum and bass
so fucking much. It's great. It's like Bristol. The whole of New Zealand is like Bristol.
I'm so excited. Like, I've already got, so there's also I'm going to try and go on, do you know George FM in New Zealand as well? Sin and Brooke do this incredible show called George FM Drive, but over there it's a dance music show. It's incredible. So they have drum and bass artists come on, and they do this feature called Does It Double, which is so funny. So they have this big spinning wheel, and it has different tracks on every week, and they spin it, and whatever track it lands on, they'll spin it again, and the next track, the DJ has to mix those two tracks together.
That's so good.
Like live on the spot. And sometimes it is sick, like it's so good, and sometimes it's chaotic, and it's just, But they'll have like the best drum and bass DJs in the world do it and pop in.
Yeah.
And I was messaging them obviously about coming over, and they're like, "You got to come on the show." And I want to try and bring them onto the show when they come here as well, so we can syndicate and bring that world into ours. So I'm buzzing. It's
I want to talk about your live show now, or like you DJing, because obviously things have changed. You're now an extremely busy touring artist as well.
Yeah.
The thing that I also want to talk about is obviously you're known for drum and bass now, but you don't just do drum and bass. You're not just a drum and bass artist.
So I didn't start that way. No, I started. Obviously, I used to do a multi-genre and multi-genre specialist show on Kiss FM for years. But that's, I think, I've always been. It's really funny because I've always wanted to be a music journalist. Like I always looked up to people like Annie Mac and Zane Lowe, and that was kind of always my path. I always wanted to be the person that had an incredible knowledge of dance music across the spectrum.
Yeah.
Because now we're seeing so much genre blurring as well. Like my dream is coming true. Like the way that everything is blurring together at the moment. Like it's like Skrillex.
Yeah.
And Fred again. And this has been my dream for years. Everything's been so segregated, and dance music was created to be this one giant community, where Carl Cox used to play on the same stage as Andy C, and it was everyone together and free love, and that's always been the dream that we'd end up back there, and it's kind of happening. So that's why I always wanted to do like multi-genre, and also I think it allows you to have a better understanding by having a better understanding of all the different genres of something specifically like drum and bass, because what a lot of people don't understand is that drum and bass was birthed off the back of acid house and breaks and techno. It wasn't just a genre that existed on its own without any of those influences. So actually to not understand about house and techno and breaks and acid house is to not understand drum and bass and jungle. So
exactly.
It's all together.
And you've also got the whole dub reggae.
Yeah.
There's so many influences coming from drum and bass that's in our commercial lives.
Yeah.
That just... that jungle thing was hilarious that you posted today.
With clips. He smashed that. He did that in like 3 hours. I was like, bruv. He was like, literally, I messaged him and he was just like, I was like, have you seen this viral clip of Amal Rajan from University Challenge? He's like, yeah. I was like, how do you feel about remixing it for Greg James's show? And he was like, give it a good go. I'll be back. I was like, he's so sick. Like I knew he would smash it. He's just a don.
He's great.
He's just a don, isn't he? Like Clips is just the ultimate jungle don. I love him.
AKA Red Light.
AKA Red Light.
Else.
His house alias, of course.
How crazy is that? Imagine having two very successful aliases.
It's like Paul Wolf and Special Request, isn't it? Like
madness.
He's just being that talented. Like it's just wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's not many people that can do it.
Not many people that can do that successfully and do the crossover like that,
No. And it was really interesting because the Special Request stuff was always like super, super, super cool.
Yeah, super headsy.
Yeah, like fucking amazing. To be fair, so was his original Paul Wolford stuff. I like both his current Paul Wolford stuff, but I loved his old Paul Wolford stuff as well.
Yeah, he's also a genius. He did this. His piano. I was going to say his piano in all of his records is just there's so much emotion in his piano and all of his records. Like you can tell a producer that writes from here, he's the best. He has like an EP from years ago called Mother and Father. Oh, I think I know it. Yeah.
So good. I need to listen to that. Do
it.
Let's talk about DJ career.
Yeah.
What happened?
What's happened in the last 12 years? I used to play house and techno and drum and bass.
Yeah.
Obviously the way things have gone, is it snowing?
It's not here.
Oh, I thought, no.
I don't think it's cold enough here. It's 2 degrees.
There's things falling out the sky. Anyway.
Probably snow.
It might be snow. Or it might be those little, it looks like I'll report back in 10 minutes.
Were you going to say dandelions in the winter?
I just realised how stupid that was. That's why I stopped myself. Like, stop talking, Charlie. You look like an idiot.
Stick on drum and bass.
Yeah, but no. So in terms of like music, so I used to play both, and that's not untypical for a broadcaster to have like a broad spectrum of music like that they play. But I think the biggest thing for me that I've struggled with as a radio broadcaster that is also a DJ is proving to people that I'm a technically skilled DJ, because they just assume that radio broadcasters are people that have an all right DJing ability. Whereas, don't get me wrong, some of them do have like that is the case. Whereas, I don't know, I would consider myself somebody that is, I've spent the best part of 12 years learning to DJ. And I would consider myself like, I play drum and bass now and I play across 4 decks a lot of the time. Sound permitting, if the sound system's not a pile of shit. Which makes your job harder sometimes. And I refuse to use the sync button, so,
Does the sync button work for drum and bass?
I mean, do you know what? I need to caveat with this, because there are some drum and bass artists that use it, and I have to say that I have no issue with anybody using it. But for me, personally, I want to be somebody that is known for my DJing skill and ability. So I will never use it because I want to be known as a DJ. Like, I want to be known for my DJing ability and my ability to mix live like that.
Yeah.
There are some producers and artists who, for them, it's not about being known as a DJ. They want to play their records out and put in an amazing, polished performance.
Yeah.
And I think that is also great in its own right. So I think it's really important that I specify that before I start slating the sync button.
Slagging people off.
No, I'm not slagging people off at all. And I've had this conversation with lots of people recently. And they're like, but if the sound's so difficult, like, I'm not going to name names, but DJs that are some of the best in the world. And everyone's like, oh, why do you? Because I was like, I'm just not there yet. Like, I would really love to be somebody that is known for their DJing ability. So I personally will never press that button. Maybe ask me in 15 years if I'm still doing it, and, or 20 years, and I'll be a lot older, and maybe my hearing started to go. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Didn't get me.
Nearly.
So it might be, be a different story, but for now.
To butt in on the sync button story, it really doesn't. I don't give a fuck if people use it or not.
Yeah.
I just don't use it because I'd get bored.
Right? But for me as well, like, playing out technically at such a rush, and I don't know, for me, the dream is one day to be, respected as somebody that is a DJ, to win an award for being a best DJ. I'm actually nominated for Best Female DJ in the Drum and Bass Awards this year, which is...
I voted for you this morning.
Oh, thank you, mate.
Not this morning, yesterday.
Thank you, mate. Which is, an incredible accolade, and I want to win that. Yeah. Knowing that I've never pressed that button, that for me, that is a personal achievement, because I love DJing so much. I love playing live. I love creating moments and planning my sets and creating mixes that are just so high energy. And do you know, my sets are so fast paced and so stressful to mix and so difficult, but I kind of love the stress. Like, I feed off of that stress. And it's, I just love it. It's one of my favourite things in the world. A lot of people ask me, like, if you had to choose radio or DJing, you can only do one, I would really struggle to give you an answer. It's never one or the other. I love DJing.
Well, good job you don't have to.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Have you noticed a massive change in your shows since becoming a Radio 1 presenter?
What, bookings? Yeah, 100%. I think
through the roof.
I think it's just people have just started noticing me more, because I've got this amazing platform which has elevated me and put me in a lot of people's spheres that I wasn't before. But then also, like, it took me a while once I was bedded into the show. Like, I've started doing a lot more streams now, and I think even though people have been to see me DJ live, not many people can like see my hands moving. So I did the Hub Live recently, and I've had so many messages like, God, we didn't realise, like, and when I did the D&B All Stars stream actually as well, people are like, oh, we didn't realise you could actually like DJ as a radio DJ. And I'm just like, yeah, like, this is like the thing I'm most passionate about. Like, I fucking love DJing. I'm so passionate about it. And even like the D&B All Stars 360 as well, I want to go back and do it again, because I'm like, that was not my best. Like, bring it on again,
It's interesting how people have that vision of a radio DJs not being technically club DJs.
Yeah.
I guess that's not what they're known for, right?
Yeah.
But then in specialists they are, especially Radio 1 specialists like Pete Tong.
Yeah.
Like, although yes, he's one of the greatest presenters of all time. Like, it was amazing. Even Zane Lowe, I fucking loved his DJ sets. His DJ
he's
sets
so talented.
They were all over the shop.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally a car crash, but the best car crash you could ever wish for.
Do you know who Jack Saunders really reminds me of? Zane Lowe. Jack Saunders.
I don't know who Jack Saunders is.
What? So Jack Saunders, he's going to be the new host of Future Sounds. So Clara Amfo, the show that Clara Amfo currently does, Sunday evenings, Monday to Thursday on Radio 1.
Oh, so he's taking technically Zane Lowe's spot.
Zane, then Annie, then Clara, and now Jack Saunders, and he is an incredible broadcaster. He's just
I'll be honest,
brilliant.
I've never since Zane stopped that show, I've never listened to it.
Interesting.
Which is really bad of me to say, but
yeah, I've loved listening to Clara over the years. Obviously, love listening to Annie in that slot.
Yeah.
That slot is such a skill to broadcast that slot, because you have to have such a broad knowledge of music across every spectrum. And yeah, again, a testament to like producers at Radio 1, because the teams that work on that show, to have that broad knowledge of all that music. You have like people within the team that have that specialism as well, that can help, give you the information, because it's every night of the week and it moves so quick, and it's wild.
And you're going like all over electronic, pop, rock, indie, rap, everything.
Yeah, but do you know what? Jack Saunders, he does remind me of Zane Lowe in that way. He is so knowledgeable and articulate and eloquent. Like, I could listen to that man talk all day. He is truly one of the most gifted broadcasters we have of this generation. Like, I love Jack. Yeah. He's excellent. He's so good.
I used to love Zane's show, and the reason why I haven't listened for so long is purely because I used to listen when I like worked a night job, like as washing up at the chippy.
Love it.
And
we've done those jobs.
I would listen to that, like his show religiously, like every single night.
Right, here's a question. Who is your favourite broadcaster on Radio 1 ever? Zane
and Pete. Annie Nightingale was pretty special. R.I.P. Yeah. Sadly, that sucks that's happened.
So sad.
But yeah, Zane is like, I still listen to Zane on a weekly basis.
On Apple now. Sorry, the other station shall be not be
named.
We
can't talk about it. It's like the Voldemort.
The Voldemort of the Harry Potter radio world.
No, I actually changed how I listen to stuff. So I watch a lot of YouTube.
Right. Okay.
And I listen to watch a lot of his interviews on there. I like long form.
Yeah.
Really like long form. And like radio, since I'm like writing music full time and DJing full time, I actually don't listen to that much music outside of that time.
That makes total sense. Obviously I listen to music for the show, but it's that's actually one of my New Year's, I don't believe in resolutions, but one thing I need to do more of this year is start listening to more music as a consumer. Because
it's hard.
So I don't know if you get this as well, right? But as a DJ and an artist, do you find it's hard when you have spare time? The last thing sometimes you want to do is go to a gig, because especially you live so far out as well, right? So you're Somerset way?
Yeah.
So actually getting to a gig for you is so much time and effort. But actually, when you do that, I feel so much more inspired when I go and watch other artists live as a punter. If I'm not playing that night and I just go and watch a gig and I have that experience from that side of the decks, it's invaluable.
I don't ever go to clubs unless a friend's playing. Yeah. Like, and unless a really good friend's playing.
Yeah.
If they're just like an average friend, I'm not going.
Yeah.
But I'm coming to see you in Bristol.
Are you?
Yeah.
Sick. You're in for a ride. You haven't seen me play for a while, have you?
I don't think I've ever seen you play.
Never seen me play? We're friends for like 10 years and you've never seen me play?
I don't think you've seen me play though, Charlie T.
I have.
Don't think you have.
Why not?
No.
We're bad friends. We're shit friends, aren't we?
I just think it's like...
We're so busy, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, but I think that's the nice thing that, like, obviously we've been friends for so long.
Yeah.
But, like, every time you catch up with music industry friends, a lot of the time it is in a club, and you don't actually ever get to catch up with people.
Yeah.
And it's just the same old conversation. And that's no disrespect to anybody. It's just that we're all fucking busy.
Yeah.
But, like, the fact that we actually get the time to like catch up and hang out at the pub or go for dinner and stuff like that.
I think that's important. Nice though. We do the proper life stuff, right? We go for dinner and stuff, which I think is actually nicer. So yeah.
And don't talk about music. It's perfect.
I mean, we do talk about music a little bit.
I struggle with consuming music generally on like, especially electronic music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really listen to. I think there's two reasons why. One, I'm really picky with what I like now, and I think I've gotten it's kind of like bad how picky I've got with what I like. It's kind of like old man syndrome, right? It's like, you know exactly what you want and what you don't want. And also there's, when I do like something, I'm like not really paying attention to the actual whole product. I'm trying to work out how it was made.
See, that's another element. Yeah, you start picking it apart. That's how I consume radio and TV. It's interesting.
I can imagine.
Yeah. You can't unhear how they're doing it, or like their tone of voice, and you're like, they're reading that off a piece of paper. You can't. You just know that inner workings. How it works. So,
yeah, totally. Which, so like when I like consume music, I'm consuming music that I don't want to make and couldn't make.
So who do you listen to, like, that's not electronic in your downtime? Like who would you choose to listen to?
I'd put on like funk and soul.
Amazing.
And like
love that.
Motown, and I listen to like London Grammar.
Yeah.
I love London Grammar.
Beautiful.
Like working listening to that stuff. Just like chilled stuff really.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like on one and want to listen to some mad shit, but no.
I love that.
What about you?
So I rinsed over Mono's album this year. Like it
was great.
It's so good, and because obviously when you're traveling a lot and like lack of sleep, it just was an easy album for me to put on, and just like just transportational, like just literally I put it on, I'd be transported to another world. Like it's the best album.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's the best album of last year, easily. A lot more melancholic stuff, I guess, or really random. Like I really appreciate good pop songwriting. I love Olivia Rodrigo. I love her.
Really?
I think she's so fucking... the songwriting in the tracks, I know they're so bait and obvious and poppy.
It's the whole point of it, right?
I think they're so relatable, and I think there's something really powerful in writing lyrics that so many people across the world can relate to. Like, I think it's amazing. Like, I know it's obvious writing, but if you actually ever sit down to try and write obviously, it's harder than you think.
Oh, it's impossible.
So difficult. I mean, you can hear vocalists that have written a top line that they're like, we want this to be catchy. We're trying to write it so it's catchy. And you can hear it. It's so the ability to songwrite in that relatable way, but make it sound like you're not trying and like it's coming from here, that is a skill. Like I find that amazing, you know?
The reason why she's so successful is because of that, right? She's writing great records, or whoever's writing with her are great songwriters. The team around her, they're fucking great. It's like there's a reason why Max Martin's the best producer songwriter in the world.
Yeah, totally.
Just everything that they put out, he puts out as a writer is fucking unbelievable. And it's the same with Billie Eilish. You know what I mean? Like there comes a point when shit gets through, right? Like commercial shit gets through because it's commercial shit. Yeah. But when it's pure brilliance every time,
it's consistency.
It's consistency, and you can't get away from it.
Undeniable consistency. There's undeniable talent there, and like as somebody obviously who's like, you know, you're a specialist presenter and you know drum and bass is my world, but do you know what I'm actually really loving at the moment? This new generation of artists that are coming through also have a very good understanding of that, and they have a real respect for artists within different genres, whereas typically like the old guard in drum and bass would be like, oh, pop music, ugh, like there's no way they ever would have accepted artists from that world. But now I think we're so much more open-minded. Then, you know, you've got Headaches writing a track with Ardy. It's, you know, Boo working with Brucey, although Brucey came from the underground, but there's so much more, I think they're so much more open-minded as artists, and they appreciate the artistry of other genres. And I think it's also a brilliant thing. I think it's a beautiful thing.
I totally agree with you, and without sounding bitter and twisted, not actually bitter and twisted as well, but I think people have realised there's serious fucking money in this game now.
Maybe a little bit of that too, but
and
probably a little
you
bit
can still
of that
respect
too.
the
Yeah.
art. Like, but like realistically, everyone's trying to get bigger, and everyone's trying to reach a bigger audience.
Yeah.
And I think if you can reach a bigger audience by still doing what you're amazing at, and two people can come together as one, it's like, who would have ever thought David Guetta and Black Coffee would do a record together?
Not me.
Right? Exactly.
Not me. Yeah.
But when I heard about it, I was like, this is fucking genius. Yeah. We need to do more of this, because it's like, this is exactly what the scene needs to bring more people in to then make it bigger for all of us.
Yeah. But also, like, collaboratively as well. Like, I'm sure there are lots of artists that are just using their platforms and cross-pollinating in that way, but I also do think there are lots of artists who, you know, maybe grew up. Sota, for example, he's sampled "Bring Me the Horizon." He loves screamcore and like punk, like that's one of his passions, and one, you know, the genres that he listened to growing up. So it wasn't just a case of trying to tap into a new audience. It was creating a record with something that was so nostalgic to him and played such a big part and a role in shaping his sound. So yeah, there's so much personal experience in people's music as well. And even if something seems like it's not relative to the genre that they're making, it's, you know, like...
I think it's so important. I think it's so important with artists that don't come from the scene, that don't start from the scene. They come from a different scene, like as in, like what you said, like comes from like indie rock, screamo, screamcore, like coming from that scene and then bringing that to another genre is so valuable. Like look at Trent Reznor with 9 Inch Nails. Like just those kind of like that. You have the best of the best when they do that. Yeah, because then they're making new genres. Yeah, they're not copying what the legends have done. It's
progression.
They're making
musical progression.
Look what Skrillex did back in the day. Like, fair enough if I don't care if you like it or not, but I mean, like those those dubstep stuff,
look what he's doing now. You know, collaborating with Missy Elliott or Ratatata. Like, he's still doing it. And Fred again and Fortet. Never did I think that we'd see Fortet and Skrillex together, you know, a couple of years ago. But it's a beautiful thing, and it's so exciting. I can't wait to see where it goes next. I genuinely can't. And, you know, I keep joking. Boo put up this thing the other day on his DMs that Fred again had slid into his DMs and was like, "I love your music, man," and I'm like, "Collaborate now." Yeah. And I actually DM'd Fred again, and I was like, "You're never going to see this, but on the off chance that you do, if you like drum and bass, I was like, you are welcome on my show anytime."
The powers at Radio 1 surely can make that happen.
Fred again is the busiest man in the world. Like, he is so busy. He doesn't really do much promo, so yeah. Let alone probably come on my show. But hey, you got to put it out in there into the universe. You never quite know.
You'll get there this year. You'll get him on.
You never quite know. I believe in you. Well, we've got some guests penciled in for this year, so we know who we want roughly. So yeah, we need some more big moments. But yeah.
Should I start writing drum and bass?
I would love that. I'd love nothing more.
Did I not send you my drum and bass?
I don't know if you have. Oh, you sent me something liquidy. No, because you made Liquid. You sent me a Liquid track. Yeah, you did. And it was lovely.
I'll send some more stuff
over to you. Send it.
Jason Status, having a moment again.
They are. The boys are back.
The boys. I saw Becky yesterday, their management, on the tube, randomly.
Oh, nice.
And I was talking about that whole situation of how they've come back, and I think it's one of the reasons why drum and bass has got so big again, for me anyway, as an outsider that's not in the scene, like on a commercial sense, and like being very naive to the scene. It feels like it's fucking so funny seeing their Boiler Room.
That was a moment like that. I really like the first ever drum and bass act to do a Boiler Room, by the way. First crazy. And only. Like, I'm hoping that changes next year. But we have our own version of Boiler Room now, which is D&B All Stars do 360, right? And Shogun Audio also do Shogun sessions now off the back
What's
of that.
What's the guy's name that runs D&B All Stars?
Will and Josh. There's two of them.
I had dinner with one of them last year or the year before, and he's such a nice dude.
They're both lovely. But they're, what they've done, I don't think people understand how instrumental they've been in facilitating this newer generation we've had. So artists that started on their label and gone on to big successes. Vibe Chemistry, Ballin', Dancing is Healing with Rudimental. Kenya Grace, first released on D&B All Stars, and we all know where she is now. Alchemist had a top 40 record last year. They have put so much into the scene and really been at the forefront of, like, you know, nurturing and growing new artists breaking through, and it's so exciting. They've absolutely smashed it.
No, it's really interesting, because obviously they went through obviously had their first bit of success years ago, and then it kind of got to the point where, like, no, this is zero disrespect, but it kind of just got a bit cheesy in the sense. And then
what do you mean, the music that they were putting?
Or just like this, it just felt very commercialized.
Interesting.
At some point, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I think now insane producers and songwriters.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing, even from the get-go. But I think, in my personal opinion, it got a bit like, okay, we've heard this before, and then their new albums are just fucking unbelievable.
Who are you talking
Like,
about, sorry? Oh, Chasing Status, right. I thought you were talking about the All-Stars release, so I was getting confused there. Yeah, no, I actually think it went the opposite way. So their last album before this one was very headsy, like really headsy.
No, I'm on about years ago.
Oh.
So when they had their first moment.
So they had More Than a Lot was the album that literally was the gateway album for me to get into drum and bass. And then they had No More Idols. I think that was the one after that. And then they had... I should know this. I know them. I've got them all upstairs on vinyl. What's the other one? I'm going to look really bad now for not knowing all these off by heart.
They've done a lot.
They've done so many albums.
I'm pulling... So they got Tribe, which was 2017.
That's the next one. Yeah.
But you've also got...
Return to Jungle.
Yeah.
And then their new one, which is like it's almost like they've done it like an extended LP, which is called Too Rough Volume 2.
Yeah, it's amazing. So
incredible
good.
collaborations on it. Like they've got Stefflon Don on there, HeadX, Boo, Mosey. Mosey did a collaboration with them, which was insane. But you know what they've always been really good at? Cherry picking artists as they're coming through, like Clementine Douglas doing Mixed Emotions. That was a big pivotal tune for her and her career. And she's, in my opinion, one of the best dance electronic vocalists we have now. She's just
100%.
Her voice is otherworldly. Like I love watching her Instagram videos of her singing in her house. I am just captivated. I can watch her all day.
Insane writer as well. Insane writer.
Incredible.
Like I've done multiple sessions with her and she's insane.
Amazing.
Like I've never seen somebody just like churn out records. Literally, like we do like 3-4 ideas and every idea is just like
sick.
Unbelievably, like how
amazing.
But you look at her career, and you like people don't realize how long she's been doing it before she was Clementine Douglas, like when she was in like the garage band and everything like that, and you're just like, oh fucking hell, like it does take a long time.
It does, but also like to like not just establish yourself, but to hone your craft, because
to get good,
gotta stick at it.
And you stuck at it, Charlie T.
I have stuck out. I've clawed. What did someone say to me? A manager said to me not too long ago, "Is like you've clawed your way to the top." I was like, I don't know if that's nice thing. No, he actually meant it. He was like, I mean that in a nice way. He's like, as in like you have not given up, and you have been I'm here and I'm staying and I'm in the room. And I've worked my way up from being on the bottom of every lineup, and I'm slowly progressively moving up. I haven't gone from like opener to headliner. It's like but
which I don't think you do. I don't think you want that generally in a career. I don't think you want to go from top to bottom straight away. I feel like there's a level of like build your foundations and get to the point where and then you can headline when the foundations are so solid that if that moment that you're having pops, you're back down warming up again. And I feel like if the longer the foundations take, the longer you can stay at the top for. We've got time. We're still young.
I fully agree, mate. And also your fan base is more authentic and solid, and
totally.
And also you grow with them. It's a really beautiful thing, you know. Like I've not got as big a fan base as some other artists, but also I speak to my followers. I speak to most of them every day. Like I message people back all the time, and I love it. That's my favourite part of the job. Like it takes so much out of me, if I'm honest, but I genuinely love it. Like when I'm creating radio, obviously I love doing that, but after a while I'm just like, it doesn't feed me as much as people listening to the show and telling me they enjoy it, or watching a DJ set and like I can do a DJ set and it'd be like, oh, I worked really hard on that and I'm happy with how it went. But when I actually really feel like it's made an impact is when people watch it and tell me that they've enjoyed it. I'm not happy unless other people are enjoying what I'm doing. That just adds a whole other element to the work I do. It's not work then, it's like joy, isn't it? It's like you're creating joy, you're not working. I think
it's hard to forget that. It's hard to remember that sometimes, especially when you're in the trenches and you're like no sleep, putting in the hours and everything like that. But it pays off. Yeah, it all pays off eventually. Totally, mate. We need to give this a wrap because I got another one in half an hour.
What a pleasure though.
thank you so much for coming on. I love you to
Thank
bits.
you, mate. I love you too.
I'm so happy for you. Like, after all these years, I know there's always been the goal, so genuinely, like, super happy for you, and well done.
Thank you, mate. And you too, smashing life as ever.
We're getting there. We're getting
smashing it.
Right, love you
Love
lots.
you.
See you
Bye.
soon. Peace. Bye. And that's a wrap. Big love to Charlie for coming on. I loved that episode. If you enjoyed it, please share it. Please subscribe. Please give us some comments. Have a great week. Keep safe. Till next time.